Hi, today we're going to be talking about the relationship between the rider and the horse, how they can work together and things that you can do to help you ride better, to help you stay stronger and to help your relationship with your horse. So what we're going to really focus on is your posture and your core stability. You have to have a really good core and a really good posture for most of the tasks you need to do when you're riding. So whether that's horse jumping, whether that's dressage, you need to keep yourself quite upright, straight and strong to be able to carry yourself light on the horse and to be able to do what you need to. Most people can get away with, not being as strong or being a little bit sloppy, going over jumps and things like that up to a certain level. After that, if you want to start to increase your height of jump or the level that you're working at, if you're going out of amateur and things like that, you want to be stronger and sturdier. So to talk about this, we're going to recap a little bit on how the body works to be able to explain what you can do to help yourself out. So your body is controlled by your nervous system. Your nervous system is your brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves out to every organ, cell, and muscle in the body. If there's an issue in the spinal cord or an issue in the spine, in the bony parts of the spine, your information can't get from the brain out to the muscles correctly or out to the organs or cells correctly, and you get a dysfunction. This dysfunction causes a stress in that area and causes, among other things, a lot of tightening in muscles. And when muscles have been tight for a while, they switch off, they don't know to relax again, so they keep yourself in that posture. Now what happens with most people, they end up with a posture that the neck has come forward, the shoulders have slumped down, and the core is switched off and not engaged. This leads to a lot of tightness down the back of the neck into the mid-shoulders. It leads to a lot of weakness in the low back and a lot of tightness in the legs as well. So you can't function at an optimum level if you have that going on. As chiropractors, we find out where those stresses are in the spine and release them with something called a chiropractic adjustment. That helps the body to relax, it helps the joint to relax, and in so takes the stress out of that area of the system so it can work properly again. When the whole system is working properly again, then your body can start to heal itself. So when your body sits in a stress response for an extended amount of time, it forgets to be able to relax again. It loses that ability to relax again. And as all healing is done when our bodies are in a relaxed state versus a fight or flight state, you can have many injuries that just go unhealed, or they may heal a little bit, or you'll get recurrent injuries and things like that. So we really want to address those areas that are stressed and address those areas of the spine that need to get moving again and to get relaxed again. So what causes these injuries? What causes these areas of stress? It's split up into three separate areas, I suppose, that can cause these. The first one is your physical things that you're doing throughout the day. That is, if you are working at a desk, if you're sitting all day, if you're not moving very much, then you get stuck in this position, in this forward position, looking down at your computer or looking down at your phone. And over time, your body just accepts that as the new normal. It doesn't tell you to sit up straight anymore. It doesn't tell you to relax because you're telling it and teaching it a new pattern. Similarly, what everyone thinks of are big traumas, so things like car accidents or falling off your horse or hitting your head or big things like that. They actually, although very traumatic on the back, don't create as much tension as the repetitive things over and over again. They really teach your body a new way to use itself and a new way to hold itself, and that isn't always the right way. Most common ones for horse riders are the things when you're looking after the horse. So you're doing the mucking out of the stables, you tend to always use the grip the same way, you're pulling in big bales of hay, you're horsing around food, you are wheeling wheelbarrows in and out. So you've a lot of physical actions that your body needs to do day to day. That's as well as any other jobs that you're doing outside that. When you're on the horse itself, obviously it's a lot of physical work, and if you're trying to train it to do something else or you're trying to push it harder, then you're going to be pulling yourself in different ways as well. The emotional aspect of it is the second bit, and that's how you are inside, really, how you think. If you're a very positive person, then you'll be able to keep yourself generally more relaxed. If you're a very negative person, you tend to hold yourself in and tight, and things affect you more than people who have a more positive outlook on life. And obviously then the stress going around outside you, if you're in a very stressful job, or if there's issues going on at home, if you've had a death in the family, or if you've had a lot of tension and strain, that all affects how you hold yourself and how you tighten as well. It's very hard to stay relaxed in that kind of atmosphere. And the last one is the chemical, which is basically everything around us and everything we put into our bodies. So you should have a nice balanced diet, you should be drinking plenty of water, try to avoid drinking fizzy drinks, lots of tea and coffee, lots of caffeine, and just trying to keep yourself well and balanced. So if your body isn't getting the right nutrients in, the right vitamins and minerals in from the things that you're eating, and enough hydration through the water, it won't have the ability to get better because it has no fuel there to get better again. So how do these present then, these tensions? People assume they have to have pain before they have any work done on themselves. And classically with horse riders, they tend to look after their horse really well and neglect themselves. So part of this video is teaching you to be able to do some things yourself as well to help you stay stretched and relaxed and calm whenever you're working with your horse. So we'll start from the top and work our way down. So at the very top of the neck, this is the biggest area that we would look at in most people, as well as the very low back. There tends to be a lot of tension coming through here, generally from things like looking at your phone and driving and all the things where you're looking downwards. But also if you're very stressed, this will be tight here as well. And that creates, pain-wise, can create a lot of headaches, neck pain, into the lower neck as well a little bit. It can create tension up around the eye, migraines. But from a whole body point of view, it puts your body in a stress response. So you tend to not be able to switch off as well. You tend to not be as relaxed. You want to be on the go all the time. And that creates more of an issue in my head than pain, because that will lead to burnout over time, and it will lead to sickness eventually. So that's one of the main areas that we always make sure is working really well. Down into the bottom of the shoulders and neck, then you can have a lot of tension across into the upper trapezius here. You can have a lot of tension into the shoulders and where your shoulders round forward, or you might have recurrent shoulder injuries like frozen shoulder or muscle pulls and things like that. Down into the middle of the back, you feel like you always want to stretch out or move around that way. And into the low back, it tends to be, you can feel a dull ache right into the glutes or into the buttocks there, and that can create a lot of tension. If there's a lot of stress there, then it leads to more things like sciatica and pain into the legs or things like that. But again, the pain doesn't have to be there. If it's dysfunctional, you often find there's areas that don't work right for a long time first. So you might find, especially in the neck, you mightn't be able to turn. Coming out of junctions and things like that, you mightn't be able to move your neck as well as it should. You might be able to use your shoulder, one better over the other, or you might be able to lift one up higher than the other. And in the low back, you may be able to bend over easier if you don't have tension. If there's dysfunction there, you might have problems in the morning putting on your socks. Again, not necessarily pain, but stiffness. And that's when you really need to get it looked about, is whenever there is an imbalance. So everything should be even. Your right and left should be even, so you should be able to look both ways the same. You should be able to bend over easily. You should be bent down to the side easily. And that creates a lot of tension in the horse as well, because if you're unbalanced, then you're going to be sitting on the horse unbalanced, and that will create tensions in the horse over time that you'll have to get seen about as well. Because horses, much like ourselves sometimes, will keep going and going and going and going with tension patterns and compensation patterns where they're trying to work harder before they give out and it becomes really painful, and only then your horse becomes naughty, or it doesn't want to listen to you, or it's starting to buck and rear and things like that, or snap down its feet whenever the farrier is trying to change their shoes. But if you can clue into these things a little bit quicker, then you'll be able to see problems before they become real big problems. You'll be able to get them corrected. So where do you start? Where do you start the core stability, and where do you start the process of getting yourself stronger and straighter and holding yourself up well? I would say, first of all, get a spinal check. Make sure everything's working properly, make sure your nervous system is working properly, and your body is functioning well to start off with. Because you can start doing lots of exercise classes and lots of stretching, but if your body is still holding a stress pattern, it's not going to affect it. It's going to stay the same. So you want to start with that bit first. Then you can start doing gentle stretching, get your body moving. If there is a dysfunctional pattern, getting your body to stretch and relax, especially whenever you're going out horse riding, because as many of you have told me, you will jump on a horse completely cold, you'll warm your horse up before you do anything, and you'll cool it down and give it nice stretches, but you don't do it for yourself. So the biggest thing you can start doing is just doing gentle stretches just before and after you're on the horse, or morning and evening, or things like that. So just as much as stretching out the side of the neck and bringing it down to the side, and holding these for 10 seconds each until the area starts to relax. Rolling the shoulders back is a great one to do many times throughout the day, again to tell your body to come back into that straight position rather than that hunched forward position. The last thing then, after your nervous system is working properly, after your body has become more functional and your muscles are working correctly, then is to start some kind of exercise, whether that is Pilates or yoga. The only way you're going to be able to train for your specific sport is to do that itself. So horse riding, or say you're horse jumping, is the only way you can train for that is to do it over and over and over and over again to get your body used to it. But if your core is nice and strong through some things like Pilates, yoga, walking, running, swimming, that kind of thing, then you'll be able to keep your body going for longer before it gets tired and flumps forward again. So the 3 main things that you would start after this is to get your spine checked, make sure your nervous system's working properly, start some stretching, and start some gentle exercise to get the strength in there again. Please pass on to any friends you think may like to hear this message, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.